everything that you want is for the feeling that you think that you'll have when you have it. And you will have that feeling. Everything that you want is because you think you're going to feel better when you have it. Whether it's the money, whether it's the literary empire, whether it's the books, whether it's the screenplays, the movies, the awards, everything that you want is because at the most fundamental root of it, you think you're going to feel better when you have it. And if we can teach you that, you can feel better now because that's what you really want. All you really want is to feel good now. And usually that is kind of a little bit of a, not a jump, but it's something that we have to understand because as physical creatures, you have that vibrational gap. You have that physical understanding that doesn't lend to a vibrational world. You're used to effort. You're used to, okay, let me exchange this with the universe. Let me think this thought and then I'll get what I want. But it's not like that. It's about harmonizing. It's about matching the frequency of what you want. And then it's not like it materializes, you rendezvous with it. It comes to you, you meet up with it. And you're like, hey, I was thinking about you. Have you ever had that experience where you were thinking about something or you're thinking about someone and they just called? That's because law of attraction is matching up all these signals so that all the like signals are going together. And we tell you that the essence of your desire, aka the feeling of it, is something that you can achieve right now. While you can't have the millions of dollars right now, while you can't go all the way from sickness all the way to wellness right now, while you can't have the physical manifestation right now, you can have the essence of what you want. You can have the feeling of what you want. And if we can really get you to understand that the feeling is what you really want, and you can have the feeling right now, and the feeling is an emotional manifestation, because while you give thought to something, literally a feeling manifests. It manifests in the form of an emotion right in your solar plexus, and we're like, what's more real than that? The feeling is what you want. And as you start to look for the feeling, and you start to reach for the feeling, and you start to love the becoming of the feeling, and you start enjoying the path because you have the feeling, and so you start taking track of the feeling, then you have to get the manifestation. It's the law. But this is really the back door. This is the easiest way to get it, because while you're talking about the emotion, while you're talking about the essence of what you want, guess what happens? You feel good. You have fun all along the path, and you're not walking around as half of what you are. You're walking around as this full source energy being that you are. And that really is what the art of allowing is. You know, have you ever experienced those moments where you're just walking outside and you just feel like you can see more, and the moment just feels so rich, and maybe you're with people and you all just bring the best out of each other and the weather is nice? That in that type of moment, the fullness of who you are, source energy and you are merged into one body. You're blended. And that's what your life is all about. That's why you want all of your desires. You see, when we tell you that you can have the feeling of your desire right now, that's not in an attempt to get you to, no, it is because here's the thing. As physical creatures, you're addicted to manifestations. You just are. It's who you are. It's who you're wired to be, because that's who your action journey has trained you to become. And that is your programming. Though, if we can get you to understand that what you want is a feeling that you can achieve right now, and then the manifestation has to follow the heels, it's just it's the easiest thing for you to learn. It's really easy to understand that, because the feeling is a manifestation. The feeling is something that you can have right now, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that, but we just want to talk about the physics and the true power of this emotional journey. Because here's the thing, you can't have the physical manifestation right now, and it's not because source isn't giving it to you. It's not because of this benevolent universe that's giving you everything that you want. It's not because of that. It's because of you, because you have resistance on your path that you have to work around, and your inner being is working around that for you, and your inner being is calling that for you. Your inner being is not saying you gotta clean all that up. Source energy is saying we got you all the time. And so your job is to prepare your atmosphere. Your job is to do whatever it takes to prepare yourself in the highest frequency. It's the preparation that really matters. It's the choosing of the disc. It's the choosing of the thought. It's understanding that it's really about feeling as good as you can about this subject, not the best. Because here's the thing. The thing that's really interesting is that you have beliefs. You just do. On every subject. If you grew up in a poor family, then you have those beliefs around money, and while you can say that they're not true, they still play a role, because look at the reality that you're living in. So we understand that you just are where you are. That's the thing. Say it with us. You are. I am where I am. You are where you are. But the thing is, it doesn't matter, because where you are is so temporary, and where you can go and where you are going to go, it can happen really fast, because it's not about going anywhere. It's about everything coming to you, and everything can come to you, because it's a vibrational world, and everything is slowly will make its way to you in the form of avalanches. Once you really understand, and really once you really start taking score of how you feel, because you're on this journey, you're on the journey of a lifetime, and you really have to become so infatuated with emotions. And that's the sales pitch we're making today, is that emotions mean everything to you. They have to, because this is the physics part. You see, when you want something, when life has caused you to want something, and maybe you've been wanting it for a long time, maybe you want a really famous YouTube channel, maybe you want a really famous book, maybe you just want to make it, maybe you want to be really rich, whatever it is that you want, and make it big, because you can always, because you can have it, it's yours. Make it big, make it big, make it reach for the stars. Let it be as massive as your brain can comprehend or imagine right now. So as you make this image, right, naturally you're gonna be like, okay, well, where am I in relation to? I'm not there yet. Isn't that interesting? You'll be like, I want this, but I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. And if you're hopeful, if you're like, well, I'm not there, but I'll get there soon. I'm not there yet, but I just know I'll get there. If that's the type of conversation that you're having, then you're tipping the scale, meaning you're believing and you're hoping a little bit more than you're doubting. And what is doubt? What is worry? What is doubt? These are all negative emotions that are signaling to you that you have a thought right now that's not matching up to your desire. You've become something that you're not allowing yourself to become, and that's really the key. So you're not allowing yourself to become it. So how do you allow yourself to become something that you have become, the greater version of you has become, but you're not allowing yourself, and that's being expressed to you in the form of negative emotion? You have to stop doing that. You have to stop looking at what's making you feel negative. You have to stop looking at it in that way. And that's what we're talking about. Well, we want you to start being like, well, I don't have the physical version of it, but I have the emotional version, and I love the emotional version, because that will always soothe the gap. That will always soothe the fact that it's not here. Because the most honest thing that anyone could say is that, even us, is that what you want is not here yet. It's not here yet, but you have to get over that. Because when you say it's not here yet, what do you mean? You say it's not physically here, but we're like, well, what about the vibrational reality? It's vibrational here yet, and the only way that you can subtly tune or enjoy the vibrational version of what you want is through feeling. So we call that the vibrational essence. You can experience the vibrational essence. You can achieve the vibrational essence of what you want, and in achieving the vibrational essence of what you want, the absence of what you want can't survive in that sort of climate. It can't survive in the atmosphere. You can't focus on the essence of what you want, and you can't focus on the absence of what you want at the same time. You're always making that choice, but one choice is always easier than the other, which is absence, because you're seeing it. But talking about the essence of it, it's almost like it's almost like a marathon. Like, you have to really keep it up, and it gets easier. It just gets easier because the law of attraction is helping you out with the beliefs that you were thinking about. So you can't just let go of all your beliefs at once. You have to gradually let go of them, and you have to tune them out. But it's not that hard. This is the thing. It's not, none of this is that hard. It's just, you're on the journey of a lifetime. You're never going to get there. So we want you to really understand that it's really all about alignment. Everything, the deeper meaning of life is about alignment. You are these creators, but you also can't stop desire, which is really interesting. So it's not about completely getting rid of manifestations off the table. It's just about looking at manifestations in a different way, in a way that can be conducive, in a way that is always a surefire way to make you feel good, which is a feeling. Yeah, I don't have the physique, I don't have the money right now, but I have the feeling of it. I have the vision of it. I have the daydream of it. I'm having so much fun about it. That's sort of the conversation that we're gearing towards when it comes to talking about manifestations, because it's really interesting. Sometimes every subject is really two subjects: the absence of what you want, and the presence of what you want. But it's not another subject. So you really need to be sure about what subject you're talking about, and your guidance system really tells you about everything. You see, when you're just an artist who wants to create, but you're so worried about, the audience and who's going to come and who will they come, ultimately it's because you don't trust the audience. You don't really know the audience. So you're making them. Do you know that? You know that you really don't accurately know what other people are thinking about you. You're just making them up. You're just making them up in your mind. You're making up their opinions, and usually their opinions aren't, you don't like them. Usually they hurt. Usually you always see yourself in a bad way because you don't trust people. You don't trust people to be in the vortex when they look at you. And we say you don't need them to. You don't need people to be in the vortex to look at you. You don't need to trust people, because we wouldn't either, because they're finicky, because they care more about themselves than you. They care more about being objective than they care about looking at you in a higher way. And so you don't need to. Everything is about law of attraction. So we know, and you can look at all the successful people. They kept to their dream. They didn't worry about the part that gets them out of whack. For example, if you're, the writer who just wants to write, and you're like, oh, but every time I think about the audience, every time I think about how I'm going to sell this book, I crash. And we're like, then you need to leave that alone. You need to think about the piece of the puzzle that lights you up, which is a feeling you are when you're writing. That feeling, that replenishment mode, is the same feeling that is required for the big audience. And even whether you're an actress, even whether you're a basketball player, whatever it is, it's always like that. It's always two subjects. It's always about how you feel while you're doing the activity, the replenishment mode that you're in, and then the audience, the marketplace. And we're telling you it's the same. It's two different creations, but it's the same energy that's required. And if you're feeling the energy in the first one, well, you know what that means? If you're feeling the energy in the first creation, which is the creation of your art, or the playing of your sport, then the second creation is already completed, which is really interesting, because that means that what you want is 99% done, and you just can't see it yet. But see, that's the thing, is that when you say something is not here yet, we're like, that's not accurate, because it is here, but you just can't see it. And so in your inability to see with your eye and your inability for anyone else to see it, then you doubt it. Then you begin to get angry, and you begin to get doubtful, and you begin to hate your desire, and you just give into the desire. And what it means to really give up on a desire, it means that you're not doing anything to tune it. You're just leaving it. It feels bad, and it's almost like it feels bad and you don't care anymore. But that's not what we don't want you to get into that state. We want you to realize that you're gonna have desires all through the roof. You're gonna have fun all along the way, and you can't turn off. But you have to look at desire in a way that is smart now, because it's a way that's deliberate, and that way truly is its essence. I don't have the physical version, but I have the essence of it, and I love the essence of it. I love the emotion of it, and that's really it. And the thing is, that makes your point of attraction really powerful, because you're practicing the momentum of your desire, of your manifestation. And so you're walking around here and you're fulfilled. You don't understand people, because it's not that you understand them, you can't relate, because you're like, I have the real reason why I'm here. I'm enjoying it, and the real reason that I'm here is for this now moment. You've heard of people talking about enlightenment, but it's not like a college degree. Alignment is something that you have in the moment, or you don't. It's up to you. It's all a choice. And that's what we say, the creations are not as important as what you're doing or how you're feeling in this now moment, because that is what your life is comprised of. Everyone is comparing themselves to each other. Everyone is trying to get a mark on another person's chart. Everyone is trying to become successful in other people's ways, and it never really works, because you never factor in how you feel about it, because what you want to do is not what everyone else wants to do. You have to really be selfish and be like, well, maybe I don't want to do this in this way because I don't want to. Maybe I want to do exactly the way I want to, and I can still have the results that I want. And so we want you to really own the feeling. We want you to own how you are feeling. We want you to own the feeling of your desire. We want you to really, really say, you know what? I don't have my desire physically, but I have the feeling of it. I can achieve the feeling of it whenever I want. And to me, that's as good as having it, because it's the same feeling. Isn't that interesting? It's the same feeling. Well, manifestations are great too, because when you have a manifestation, it's like satisfaction, but on crack. And so we want you to stay in satisfaction. You can't tell yet accurately how far you are along this journey, but we know how far you are along. You're on the brink of so many manifestations, and it will always be like that. You'll never be in a place where there's not something amazing that you're moving towards, and we always know that. You're always on the brink of manifestations. But when you look at reality and you try to get reality to be like, to give you and tell you who you are, you just are always in a place where you're gonna feel bad, and you're gonna feel negative emotion. Because you're a creator, you're not a regurgitator, you're not an observer, you are a creator, and you're creating yourself. It's like you're collecting data, and your inner being is expanding, and we want you to catch up with your expansion. We want you to have all your manifestations. But see, this is what the art of allowing truly is about. The art of allowing is about being completely source and one, and this source and a human body right now in this now moment, and then the next and the next. And in doing so, you're gonna have a lot of manifestations, and everyone's gonna be like, whoa. And that's just how it is. You're on this journey of a lifetime, so enjoy it. Enjoy the essence of your desire. You have to enjoy it, and that's the hard part, because enjoying it is really the last piece. Once you really can enjoy the vibrational version of your desire, the physical one is really, really close, and you can feel it. You can feel how close your desire is, and the closeness of your desire truly is about how it feels. You're like, oh, I'm there. I feel like I'm there. That's what things get really interesting. Where like you look at reality, you're like, reality, you're not up to date with what I know to be true, because I feel rich AF. I feel so rich, and reality isn't like that. But then the human tendency is to now open an investigation into what is, to be like, okay, reality, how come I'm not rich? Because I'm rich in my mind. But we want you to be like, well, I'm rich in my mind, I feel rich, so reality doesn't show that I'm rich. Who cares? Because I'm still rich in my mind.